Hi guys, welcome back to the Home and Homestead. I'm Rebecca, and today we'll be making a homemade item that we can also give as a gift. This is a really simple gift that you can make for other adults and people that are of legal age to drink. It is a really delicious apple spice liqueur. Now this takes about 2 to 4 weeks to steep and develop, so plan ahead if you are thinking of making this for a homemade gift for your friends and family. This really tasty apple spice liqueur only requires a few ingredients and time to sit in a cool, dark place to develop its flavor. This would be a really delicious liqueur to share with your friends and family for a gathering, as well as it would be wonderful in a hot apple cider on a cold winter night. So let's head to the kitchen and start making our homemade apple spice liqueur. Okay, so what we have here are 2 half-gallon mason jars. I really like to use this size jar when preparing a homemade gift such as this because then I can make large quantities. And I also use a 1.75 liter bottle of vodka. Use whatever unflavored vodka brand you prefer and try to stick to an 80 proof vodka for that. So to these half-gallon mason jars, I'm going to add 2 apples that I've peeled, cored, and sliced per jar. And I use my peeler, corer, and slicer machine. You can check out my apple harvest videos on how to use the peeler, corer, and slicer gadget I'm referring to. It makes quick work of doing this task. You could certainly do all this by hand. So then what I do is I peel, core, and slice the apples, and then I just cut them in half. So I have these nice thin slices of apple. And a Honeycrisp apple works very nicely for this recipe. Would use whatever apple you prefer or have on hand. Now to each jar we're going to add 1 stick of cinnamon. And to each jar we're going to add a ½ cup of brown sugar. If you prefer a really sweet liqueur, you could certainly add 1 cup of brown sugar per jar. Now we'll add 4 whole cloves to each jar. Now we'll add 2 to 4 grates of fresh nutmeg. You could also do a quick dash of ground nutmeg. And last but not least, we will add our vodka. So just pour that into the mason jars. You want to cover all of the apples. And I just kind of evenly pour it between the 2 jars. Now you can give all the ingredients a nice stir. That'll help that brown sugar to dissolve. And now we'll just add the lid followed by the ring and secure it nice and tightly. And now we're just going to place these jars in a cool, dark place and let them steep and develop the flavor of the spiced apple liqueur. And this takes between 2 to 4 weeks. So for the first week, I'm going to shake the jars daily, and then every few days I'll shake them, and after about 2 weeks, you can smell and taste the liqueur and see if it's to the flavor that you like. So it takes about 2 to 4 weeks to develop to a nice spiced apple flavor, but you just let this sit and steep and develop until it's the flavor that you like. So I'm going to place these prepared jars in a cool, dark place and periodically check and shake them as I just mentioned. And then we'll come back for the next step once the liqueur is ready to be bottled and given as gifts. Okay, so here we have our apple spice liqueur. It's been steeping and building the flavor in that vodka for about a week and a half. I ended up doing a double batch, so I did 2 more jars and another 1.75 of the vodka, so that then I can give some of these as gifts this year. So all I do is every day I come and I shake the apple and the cinnamon sticks and the cloves just to disperse all of the ingredients and mix it with that vodka. So like I said, it's been about a week and a half, so now I'm going to give this a little taste. This has a nice cinnamon flavor to it with a subtle apple as well. I don't get a super strong, strictly vodka flavor to it, so this is just about ready to be bottled. So I think what I'll do is let this continue to steep and the flavors to meld for another half week, so it'll be a total of 2 weeks. And then we'll move on to the next step where we prepare our homemade apple spice liqueur for bottling. All right, so it's been a full 3 weeks that we've been letting our apples and cinnamon sticks and whole cloves meld and infuse our vodka. So now we have an apple spice liqueur. And I have 3 different ways that I'm going to kind of siphon and filter it out. So first I have a larger metal strainer, have over a pourable measuring bowl, and then I'm going to pour it through this funnel back into this canning jar because that's easier to pour. And then I'm going to pour it through here with the strainer and another funnel into the bottle that I'm going to have our apple spice liqueur stored in. And I have a number of these bottles, so I'm going to bottle up some and give them as homemade gifts this year. So let's open up our jar that we've been letting sit and the flavors to meld and create our homemade liqueur for us. It smells good, nice and apple and cinnamony. I'll pour this through this large strainer. That'll help remove some of these larger pieces of apple and our cinnamon stick here. So let the apples sit in the strainer and drain away the liquid here. And I'll put the apples in my little compost bowl. So now let me get a little dish for this next funnel. And for the final funnel and strainer. And then a little pint canning jar. So now we'll take the funnel and pour a prepared apple spice liqueur in here. Now this pint jar holds about 16 ounces, and these bottles that I have here are the flip top flask. They hold 8.5 ounces. So I'll put the strainer and the smaller funnel on there, and we'll pour I'll start with that. I can always top off later. So then the red seal goes on and you press down this little metal thing and now it's closed. So I have 1 bottle of our homemade apple spice liqueur all ready to go. Let me place this off to the side and I'll continue to fill these bottles. You don't have to do this step, but if you wanted to, you could put some cheesecloth, or here I have a number 4 coffee filter. You can put this in your funnel and then pour your liqueur through there. That'll help get any of these smaller pieces out. I'll do another final straining through the strainer and funnel. All right guys, here you have it. Here we have our homemade apple spice liqueur. Each of the large mason jars that I used made about 3 bottles. And these are 8.5 ounce flip top flasks. I poured a little into a glass for me to drink. You can really smell the cinnamon and the apple and a little bit of clove. Really tasty, like apple pie. You have all those great flavors that you'll find in apple pie. And now we made this delicious homemade liqueur that we can bottle in smaller size portions like this and gift them to people in a gift basket, or someone that you know that might enjoy something like this. This would be great served neat or on the rocks, or even added to some hot apple cider on a cold winter night. You can also make this special for the fall or winter season, or maybe for a Christmas or holiday party, and then share this with your guests, letting them know that you made it homemade. Well, if you'd like some more ideas on homemade gifts or other such homemade items, you can check out my playlist and videos I have on the topics. I also have a number of videos on recipes and food preservation and home decor, as well as gardening. So if you're interested in any of those other topics, be sure to check out those videos as well. But if you're new to the channel or haven't done so yet, I would really appreciate you subscribing. If you enjoy this or any other video that you watch, please be sure to give them a thumbs up. I hope you're having a great day. See you next time. Take care.